Anyone else notice that the fist was suspiciously suggested out of fucking nowhere, and now it suddenly needed to be used to progress?
The fist was not needed to tear the parchment. Ruby is not that weak.
Take portrait and move on to locker room.
Ruby rolls up the group portrait and moves on to the next room.
Check wheel symbol with third eye.
It hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts! Something from the back wall, it hurts!
Use third eye on wheel symbol in painting from the room where Tom was killed.
Ruby's third eye hurts very badly. Her head is throbbing. Perhaps overusing it is a bad idea.
Radio Tom. Ask him if he's up to talking yet.
Ruby radios Tom.
Hey, I'm okay, I'm exploring. Look, I'll keep in touch.
I'm fine too.
You know, sorry, but I'm still not in a very talkative mood. Bye.
At least he was polite.
Check the lockers.
Ruby checks the various lockers. Most of them are jammed shut, and locker number 5 is wedged on its hinges. It looks like it was shut too tightly. Ruby can't pull it open with her girlish figure. There is fresh blood on locker 2, however, and the locking mechanism seems to be open. Ruby considers whether to investigate.
Punch the locker. Then open it while standing to the side, weapon at the ready.
Ruby punches the locker to show it who's boss. Then she stands to one side and opens it. But it's empty. Save for a small padlock key taped to the back wall. It looks very purposeful.
Stick face through hole! Be sealing, Ruby!
Ruby peers down into the room below, where she first woke up. Tom's bloodied crowbar is there. She must have missed it on her way to the cafeteria, because it's lying in the pit in the center of the room. Obviously, it's no longer stuck in Ace's leg.
Radio Tom and tell him he found his crowbar. TTYL, bye.
Ruby contemplates keeping the crowbar should she need it, but instead radios Tom.
Your crowbar's in the room where I woke up.
Okay.
Ruby heads back towards the upstairs room she emerged from the pipe in.
Oh hell, look to the corner!
Soft sobbing noises are coming from the dark corner of the room. Crying.
Ask figure if they are okay.
The figure continues to cry softly in the corner.
Leave the room.
Ruby gets the distinct feeling that there is something terribly wrong here, and carefully, quietly leaves the figure be. Ruby continues upstairs and opens the tall locker with a padlock key. It would appear the back of the locker has been removed, in a clever disguise of a hidden door located behind it. The door appears unlocked. Ruby enters the hidden room. This room is divided into 2 main sections by a partition wall with no door, leaving both sections separate but accessible. It appears to be similar to the examination room downstairs in some ways. An access hatch leading up is sealed with a rather large mechanism, which is linked to a wall panel. On the west portion of the room, there is a medicine cabinet.
Examine room with third eye.
Ruby's third eye is still in pain.
Return and scan strange symbols.
Are you perhaps referring to the broken lab equipment in the room to the south?
Check cabinet.
Ruby tries to open the cabinet, but it refuses to budge. The tiny lock on the side must be holding it closed.
Jump back before that arm coming around the corner gets you.
Someone's here. The haggard-looking man comes around the corner. Ruby keeps her weapon at the ready. The man holds his hand up in a gesture of surrender. He looks oddly relieved and sighs deeply.
Ruby? Oh, thank God!
The one-handed man introduces himself as Filbert. Ruby quickly gets over her initial surprise and makes the connection between Filbert's name and the F signed on numerous reports, as well as the severed hand she found earlier. She assaults Filbert with questions. Filbert begins to explain what he can.
I'm the chief doctor here.
How do you know me?
You were a patient of mine.
Where did your hand go?
Oh, that? I severed it by slamming the security transfer chute on it. I had to. I had to stop the spread of infection.
Infection? What infection?
I was attacked, you see, and my hand was injured. Now, I believe the infection is like any other localized spread. To stop it from contaminating my entire body, I had to perform an emergency amputation.
What happened here? What is this place, and why can't I remember this stuff?
Why you can't remember anything? Isn't it obvious? You're dead.
Then how am I moving?
You're infected. Most everyone here has succumbed to the infection, except for me.
Then why did you stumble over to me and say thank God?
It's not important now.
Did I kill Tom?
I'm afraid you did. He bled out after the attack. I suppose you must have seen that on the video.
Do you know anything about Ace? Did you know Red killed himself?
Ace? He's tasked with duties as an orderly and as a security guard. I was once his commanding superior. And as for Red, he finally did it.
Was I sane?
Oh, I doubt it.
Is there a cure?
My dear, you are the cure. But enough of that. Have you found a passcode yet? I need to get to the top level. The only option now is escape. I intend to escape the entire facility. I want to get out.
What do you mean by that?
Filbert turns, suddenly angry, and lays it all out.
You already have the cure! So does everyone else in this facility. It brought you sight. It made you well. You don't even need to eat or drink. But when you died, you fucked it up. The cure was strong. It brought you back. And when you came back, you brought something with you. I am the only one left untouched. I have to escape. Now give me the passcode!
I don't know it! I'm not sick, I'm not infected, and I'm not dead! I have no idea what the code is!
It doesn't matter. You have to stay here now. You can't go to the surface. You can't escape. You are infected! You are bad! Now stay here while I get my tools from the medicine cabinet. I am going to cut your badness out.
Ruby slams Filbert in the face with her spiny fist, sending him staggering backwards. Ruby takes this opportunity to make her escape. Ruby runs to the next room.
Wait! I said wait!
Ruby slams the door behind her, holding it closed, but it won't lock.
Close the cabinet and lock that.
Ruby relocks the padlocked door. Filbert appears on the monitor.
I am the only one clean. I am the only one who can escape. All of you have damned yourselves. Ace will get you. Ace won't listen to his orders anymore. He won't even listen to her. But he is still obedient. I don't know who, but I know he is still listening to someone. Ace will get you, Ruby!
Flip off at him. Contact Tom.
Ruby shoots the monitor the bird and it goes back to static. She radios Tom and tells him everything that just happened. Filbert, the infection on which even Filbert's account contradicts itself, Ace's obedience, and whoever she is.
Go on ahead. There's something I need to check first. But I'll meet up with you again shortly.
It sounds as though Tom is ready to try working together again. A different figure appears on the monitor. The face on the monitor nods, and the east door which is wired to the monitor suddenly unlocks and swings open.
Tell him to call off Ace.
The figure shudders once, as if involuntarily, and then, unexpectedly, it begins to speak.
I can't. I'm sorry.
The feed cuts out again.
Enter the ominous doorway.
Ruby enters the newly opened door into a new room. Stitches is here.
Wave at Stitches. Remark about his lack of stitching. Ask what kind of facial cream he used.
Ruby makes polite conversation, pleased to see Stitches looking so well. He smiles back at Ruby and waves, glad to see she's okay.
Ask him what he's been up to.
Ruby shoves Stitches over the railing. Stitches falls into the giant fins. What just happened? That isn't what Ruby meant to do. That isn't what Ruby meant to do at all.
This is a flashback, isn't it?
Ruby remembers now. It was horrible. She didn't mean to.
Oh, okay. Now read the paper next to the door.
Ruby's hands are shaking. She picks up the dog-eared note from the paper folder on the left side of the door and reads it.
October 20th. I take this opportunity to file a formal complaint on several issues, most notably against Chief Diagnostic Technician Red. After I performed the autopsy on Subject 1 following his fatal accident, I voiced my concern to Red that the nature of the incident did not seem accidental. The guide rails on the catwalk are more than sufficient to protect from falls, and Subject 1 was by no means new to the area. He successfully traversed the catwalk countless times even when he was still blind, and it is my opinion that the only explanation for his fall is foul play. I believe Subject 1 was pushed. When I told Red this, he dismissed my concerns. Further, I want to bring to the attention of the administrators that Red has been ignoring the ordered rounds of medication for the staff. We have seen the power of this medication, and the administrators have ordered the entire population of this facility onto a weekly dosage. And yet, though this treatment was Red's idea to begin with, he refuses to take the very medication he prescribed the patients. Lastly, I have heard strange laughter and other voices coming from the lower levels in the middle of the night for over a month now. To whatever staff member or patient fancies himself as a prankster, you've had your fun. Some of us have work to do. Dr. S.
Ruby reads the clipboard by the door as well.
November 1st. Reappropriation of Lab B. As you are by now aware, at 6:45 this morning, Subject 1, Stitches, has regained basic cardiovascular functions. Lab B is being reappropriated specifically to study this phenomenon. Until further notice, has been moved to Lab B while the continues. It is unclear at this point what the extent of Subject 1's physical state, but there is some... Since the activity was first noticed, too early to jump to conclude. Power of the treatment, Red, whether or solution has dismissed.
Look behind the plant.
Ruby goes to examine the plant. There's nothing behind the plant, and nothing in the pot but the plant and some soil. It seems to be just an ordinary plant. Tom enters the room.
Hey, Ruby.
Ruby explains the situation to Tom. She even tells him about her flashback. Tom doesn't seem as fazed as she thought.
So, I found this note while digging through the rubble near Red's room.
Red's journal. November 1st. With my treatment, Stitches has bested death itself. And what horrors he brings with him I do not intend to discover. My aggression was in vain. Ruby is dead, but there is no permanence. Despite my best efforts, she will not have peace. It's all over now. I was too late. I am taking the coward's way out. I can still escape this nightmare before it begins. I thank God I did not take the medicine like the rest of the staff.
Ruby discreetly presses the button on her walkie-talkie. Tom's radio crackles.
Collect yourself, then move to Lab B's doors.
The door is locked with a massive, very distinct padlock.
Try to see if you can see anything through the windows on the door.
I can't see anything through the glass.
It's too dark in here.
Ruby, look through window with third eye for a short moment, just long enough to see inside.
Ruby looks into Lab B. Ruby staggers backwards. Whatever's in there seems very distinctly unfriendly. The figure in the corner sobs quietly, weeping.
Attempt to talk to it.
Hello?
Ruby's attempts at conversation go unheeded. The figure does not respond.
Why are you crying?
It's dark.
Wait, ask Tom if he sees anyone in the corner sobbing.
Ruby asks Tom for confirmation.
Yeah, I see it.
The figure turns suddenly,
It's so dark!
and the room is engulfed in blackness. The light fades from the room, and darkness envelops Ruby and Tom. It is a familiar and horrible kind of darkness. The unrelenting sound of moving water deafens their ears. You can suggest actions for both Ruby and Tom, though neither is sure exactly where the other is.
Feel around. Try to find each other.
Ruby and Tom grope blindly in the choking blackness. The sound of water is all around them, drowning out their cries.
Inspect with the third eye.
Ruby opens her third eye, and a guiding vision appears. Through the sounds of water, she hears a faint voice whispering, calling her onwards.
Do they actually feel any water? They can still breathe fine and stuff, right?
The area is dry. They don't feel any water.
Have both Tom and Ruby try to find the rail.
Ruby begins to follow the arrow. Tom continues searching for Ruby, and finds the rail, following it. Ruby feels a set of stairs in the direction the arrow was pointing.
Tom, while following the rail, swing your manly fist through the darkness.
Tom swings his fist. Ruby feels something hit her foot.
Try to contact each other with the radios.
The sound of water is too loud to use the radios.
Ruby, stop! You're on the rail!
Ruby freezes. The sound of water begins to subside. The light suddenly returns in a crackling flash.
Tom, save Ruby. Ruby, get down from there, you'll hurt yourself.
Tom helps Ruby down from the railing quickly. The darkness seems to have passed, and the distant voice is gone.
Ruby, close your eye before it starts hurting and you faint.
Ruby closes her third eye, and again the two of them consider the door to Lab B. Ruby has a very strong feeling that before all of this is over, she'll have to go in there.
Hug Tom.
I'm sorry, but I don't really feel like a hug right now after the footage we just watched together a short while ago. That hug didn't end particularly well.
Maybe they just need some time to trust each other again.
Inspect the blood on the fan, please.
The blood on the fan is most likely a spot the cleaners missed after the accident Ruby made Stitches have in the fan.
Crowbar plus lock.
The lock is massive and sturdy. No way even Tom's manly physique could tear it down.
Check the plant again.
Ruby checks the plant. But it doesn't appear to have anything but a plant and some soil.
Go back to the previous room. It doesn't look like there's anything more to see here. Check on Filbert together. Bully some answers out of him.
Ruby and Tom return to the previous room. However, something seems to have changed.
Be careful for mutant Filbert from now on. He might be around every corner in any place. Examine that thing that they're standing on.
It's that same severed foot from before, and Tom is gross for stepping on it.
Go inside. Check out everything.
Tom brings out the bludgeony cane shovel, and the two of them enter the room. But it appears empty.
Oh well, open those lockers.
There is a patient stool on the southwest corner. It doesn't open. Against the north wall is what appears to be the examination portion of the room. There is some sort of metal footlocker overgrown with fleshy protuberances. It resists Tom's attempts to open it, and two long fleshy growths seem to converge where the lock would normally be, reaching towards each other with a gap in between. The entire thing seems like an amalgamation of skin, muscle, and vein.
Check behind the poster on the wall.
The eye exam chart is bolted to the wall. It appears to be a permanent fixture.
Can we get a look at our inventories?
Ruby and Tom check their respective inventories.
Inspect the hatch thoroughly.
The keypad linked to the access hatch in the ceiling is a strange one. It has a digit lock and a swipe card slot, and it appears to be lacking power. Strangely, It is connected to the hatch with both an electrical and an apparently organic cord. The fleshy cord reaches from one terminal to the hatch, as does the electrical wire. Crossing the electrical wire thing is a flap of burnt flesh and ash, which appears to be leading to the set of contacts on the access card reader. It seems rather complex. Whatever the case, the burnt flesh appears to be evidence that the two cords have trouble working well together.
Ruby, ask Tom where the scalpel she left him with went. It could be used to cut the fleshy overgrowth.
I have added the scalpel to my leather pouch of medical implements.
Break open the cabinet with the bludgeony cane shovel.
One of the doctors probably had a tiny key to go with this lock. Tom's no doctor, but he's got the prescription for this medicine cabinet. After bashing the cabinet open, Tom finds a large jar of tranquilizer inside.
Tom, fill syringe with tranquilizer.
Tom fills his syringe with liquid tranquilizer. He's got several doses worth in there now.
Though, I'm not sure how much good it'll do against a behemoth like Ace if he comes back again.
There appear to be 3 options for the fleshy locker. Should Tom cut the growth sealing the locker with the scalpel, retrieve the fleshy growth from the jar downstairs and use it with the locker, or inject the growth with tranquilizer?
Tranquilizer, tranquilizer, tranquilizer!
Going by the responses, the majority seems to be in favor of using the jar growth on the locker growths. Tom and Ruby warily head back downstairs. Ruby removes the barbed wire from her rubber gloves and carefully removes the growth from the jar. Tom and Ruby return to the hall. Stitches is here.
Say hello and ready your weapons.
Ruby's hands are full and she has nowhere to put the large fleshy growth.
Hi.
Stitches groans hoarsely and growls in response. Stitches lunges forward, his intentions clearly hostile.
Kill me!
He lets out a loose, pained moan as he staggers at Ruby, claws held high.
Combo move. Run into next room, bait with Ruby, trip with Tom, syringe while he's down.
Tom and Ruby prepare for an elaborate maneuver. Ruby trips Stitches with her unattractively long foot. As soon as he falls, Tom pins him down using the strength of his manly physique and injects a healthy dose of liquid tranquilizer into his neck. Tom keeps Stitches pinned until, after a very nerve-wracking minute or so, he finally goes unconscious.
Loot Stitches.
Stitches is carrying a tiny key labeled medicine cabinet in tiny letters. Tom decides to leave it with him. Tom shoves Stitches into locker 5 and slams the door hard enough to jam it on the hinges. It's not much, but it'll do for now. It should keep him safe, and he should be out for a while with all the trank Tom used.
Give Stitches the group picture before leaving to investigate the growth.
Ruby slips the group portrait into a paper-thin gap in the locker's edge at the top. Stitches may appreciate it, perhaps.
Wasn't one of the lockers in here jammed before? Now that we have Tom and manly physique, we should try to open it.
That would be the locker Tom just re-jammed to seal Stitches in. There was nothing inside when Tom checked. Tom and Ruby resume their original course of action and head back to the upstairs room. Ruby places the fleshy growth from the jar into the gap between the 2 other fleshy growths. Before Ruby's eyes, the fleshy growths grow together and coil into one another. The large, fleshy mass Ruby placed into the chest, now connected, begins to beat rhythmically, expanding and contracting with a soft, wet sound. A moment later, the lid of the locker opens up. Not from the edge, but from the center, peeling itself open. From inside, Ruby retrieves a fleshy prototube, a bizarre organic item that somehow features an electrical contact panel at one end.
Ruby, lick it.
It tastes bad.
Does the fleshy prototube plug into the keypad connected to the hatch?
Tom cuts away the burnt flesh, and Ruby plugs the fleshy prototube into the keypad's contact panel. It doesn't seem to do much by itself.
Attach knobbly bits to the sockets on the organic cable?
Connecting the fleshy prototube in that way would lay it over the charged electrical wire. That's probably how the last connection got burnt.
Can you somehow use the gloves to insulate the wires and keep them from touching the flesh?
Genius. Ruby wraps the cord in her rubber gloves and connects the fleshy prototube, leaving both cords intact and connected. The keypad lights up, awaiting a 4-digit number.
0645. Enter 0645.
Ruby punches in the code 0645, and the access card reader lights up. Tom swipes the high access card. That seems to have done the trick. The high security hatch on the ceiling recedes. The path upwards is open. Ruby and Tom ascend to the floor above.
Crack open the security station door and try to estimate how large the room is. It's going to be bad if we have to deal with 20 guards. Or worse, 20 mutated guards.
Tom tries the security room door, but it is locked with a security keycard reader. Even Tom's high access card does no good here. Tom and Ruby head to Ace's quarters. Tom politely goes first. Ace's quarters appear rather starkly furnished.
Check Ace's bed.
Something is very disorienting about this room. The bed appears much larger than Tom originally thought. Tom finds a spade key tucked safely under Ace's pillow. Ruby and Tom return to the hall. Filbert's room is securely locked, and the security room needs a security card. Even Tom's high access card doesn't work here.
Go to the staff wings.
Ruby opens the door to the other wings. Ruby closes the door. Ruby decides not to go that way.
Make sure Tom saw what we saw.
If you saw a huge door lined with teeth leading to some sort of horrible abyss, then yeah, I saw the same thing.
Knock on Filbert's door and demand explanation for the elemental plane of teeth that lies beyond the doors. Or just use the crowbar in Filbert's door.
Filbert's door is too sturdy to be bashed or pried open. Further, there is no answer from inside.
Re-examine Tom's eye, or lack thereof.
Ruby peels back the bandage on Tom's eye for a moment. Tom's wound seems to be doing well. It doesn't appear to be infected, and the earlier bleeding has stopped. He looks like he'll be fine.
Okay, put the bandage back. Let's go to the lower levels.
Ruby and Tom head down one level.
Okay, we should refill that syringe with tranks and keep an eye out for that access card. Back down to dummy room, checking that Red's room is still just rubble.
Tom tops off the syringe with liquid tranquilizer. Ruby and Tom decide to begin the long trek all the way back to the dummy room. Ruby and Tom continue their trek. Still going, they head through the room Ruby woke up in. Now into the dissipating brig. Ruby and Tom finally arrive in the dummy room, though the dummy is still absent.
Check that wall painting with your third eye, Ruby. It might be important.
Ruby examines the room with her third eye. Something painful emanates from the painting, but it's hollow, distant, like an echo of something. Memories of before. A second echo comes through, piercingly. It's small, and it's just an echo, but it's still incredibly focused. Overwhelmingly potent. It hurts so badly, and yet it feels strangely good. It's like a feeling that deep down, Ruby wants to feel forever. Ruby recovers a little, and wipes the blood from her third eye. Tom examines the clock-like device. It would appear the eye dial is missing.
Wear the Do Not Open sticker on the chance that it may prevent someone from opening you.
Tom grabs the Do Not Open sticker for no apparent reason. Ruby and Tom take a long trek back to the catwalk outside Lab B, but those frames were lost on their way overseas, so we'll just skip to their arrival. Ruby and Tom use the spade key on the lock to Lab B. The double doors slide open. Subject 6 rises from the pool of light.